In the spirit of reconciliation, Up Past Bedtime would like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of all the incredible lands in which we record this podcast. By extension, we pay our respects to all Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander peoples, their past and present elders, and the connection they have to Australia's land, sea, and community. Before we dive into tonight's After Dark chat, let's set the mood, shall we? This bonus episode is brought to you by Libido, the female-founded brand that is changing the way women experience pleasure. Their mission: to make sensuality something to be celebrated, not hidden away. And speaking of not hiding things, can we talk about their essential vibe for a second? She's chic, completely external, and designed to sit proudly on your bedside table, not shoved away in a drawer like a dirty little secret. Libido creates pleasure products that feel just as beautiful as they are powerful, thoughtfully designed by women, for women. No shame, no cringe, just pure confidence in your body and what feels good. So if you've been curious, take this as your sign. Head to www.mylbdo.com and use the code UPB20 for a little something off your order. That's code UPB20 at checkout. You'll find these details all in my show notes too. Go on, treat yourself to some main character energy. Hello to my nosy bitches. Welcome to the very last episode of Up Past Bedtime After Dark with me, Bella Messina, for season 3. I cannot believe we are here. This is the last episode I am recording. I had the live event in Sydney. It was fantastic. It was so much fun. If I look a bit withered and worn, it's because I'm exhausted from doing it. I haven't put on any makeup as well, and I've got a massive stress sit on my face, but we're just going to ignore it. If someone comments about the stress sit, I'm blocking ya. I want to say thank you to every single person that came to the Sydney event. You were all legends, and it was honestly the best night of probably my whole career on social media. So thank you to all of you for making that happen. I got asked about this last After Dark episode a bunch of times at the event because today we are doing I have to answer your questions. So the way this kind of worked is I put up just a general question box on the Up Past Bedtime Instagram and got people to send in questions. Then I grabbed 2 questions and I competed them against each other, and whichever one I have to answer. There are 8 rounds, and I tried to choose really good, juicy questions that I know that you guys would want to know the answer to. So I'm going to answer these. There are some in here that I actually don't want to answer, but whatever. We're besties here. If you judge me and you never, look at my content again and unfollow me, then it is what it is. C'est la vie. Okay? Let's go. Welcome to Up Past Bedtime After Dark. I'm Bella Messina, and this is your official invite to the group chat we do not screenshot. We're talking late night chaos, unfiltered confessions, and all the stuff that's too spicy for the main feed. So grab your wine, hide from your kids, and let's get into the good stuff, because what happens after dark stays between us, bestie. All right, round 1. I had 2 options for you guys to vote on, which was, did you get a new partner first, or exactly when did you meet your partner? GB, okay? And 54% of you wanted me to answer exactly when did me and GB meet. So we met on December 13th, 2024. That is our, little anniversary. We didn't start dating then. That was our first date on December 13th, 2024. I told you guys I had kept him on the hush-hush for a little bit. I did meet him quite soon after separating from my partner. I was trying to have my hoe era, okay? Just turns out I'm really shit at a hoe era, all right? Because I met him and it was like, oh my God, you're my person. Literally on the first date, I have text messages of me messaging that to Charlie on the first date. But it was very soon. I had told myself that I was not going to date until 2025, and I got bored and re-downloaded the apps. I'd gone on a couple of dates like a couple of weeks before that. And then I deleted the apps because I was like, oh, this is disgusting and I'm so not ready for this. And then I got bored, re-downloaded the apps, ended up on a first date with him. And well, the rest is history because here we are in August 2025, still very happily together. He was at the Sydney event, so all the girls that were there did get to see him in the flesh. They didn't know it was him until after the event. I did get asked and I tried to like avoid the question, but I don't think I did a very good job. And I think everyone knew it was him. I did meet him quite early. I actually met him on the day that Hero was born. So random. Like I didn't get Hero for a couple of months after that, but so weird, that coincidence. And also we met on a like Friday the 13th, which I was like, I thought that's meant to be bad luck and I really hope that's not an omen for the future. But it's been nothing but lucky so far. I feel everything's been going well. Everything's been going good. So yeah. All right, round 2, I got asked, did you consider experimenting with girls, or are you dominant or submissive in bed? And you guys, 61% of you wanted to know if I am dominant or submissive in bed. This is funny because I think it really depends on the partner. I think in my current relationship, I wouldn't really say I'm kind of either. I usually like to be more submissive. This is going to be very personal, but I do have a little bit of like a degradation kink, okay? I like, being dirty talked in a not so polite way during sex, but that's not really GB's speed. So I would say we're kind of equal in our relationship. I don't think we're kind of like, I don't think I'm super submissive and I don't think I'm super dominant. So yeah, I guess we're kind of equal, but my like preference, like what gets me going the most is being more submissive. I like a guy who's bossy in bed. That's like what I prefer. I don't like making decisions during sex. Like I think it's better to just like be told what to do. I don't actually care. Like when sometimes people like listen to the podcast back and they're like, do you get shy like sharing that stuff? I'm like, literally no. I will say it to anyone and everyone. Yeah, I just don't care about being like shy girl about my sex life. All right, round 3 was, did your marriage make your postpartum depression worse? Or in one word, why did your marriage end? And of course, to no surprise, 85% of you wanted me to answer in one word, why did my marriage end? This was a question that my team asked me when I was in Sydney. They're like, what are you going to say to the answer for that? Because you have such strict boundaries around sharing the breakdown of your marriage. And I'm like, yes, that is very true. I am going to have to figure out a way to answer the question while still upholding the boundaries that I've set around that, because I do not want them to change. I think it's really important not to share too many details for the benefit of my children mostly. I think in one word, my marriage ended because I've actually had a few that I was like, I could say this or I could say that. But the 2 I had, I'll give you 2 words. The 2 I had was heartbreak was one. And then the other I had was trust. They were the 2 kind of best words I could think of to describe like why my marriage broke down while still withholding some privacy around that for everyone involved. Not that I have to, like there's literally no obligation for me to keep that private. I could, if I wanted to, tell everyone and anyone. But I just don't think it is healthy to do that for the third parties involved, not the other party in the relationship, but more the extended parties like our kids and friends and family. Like I just think it's not fair on them, and that's why I don't do it. Otherwise I would just do a tell-all and give you guys the inside scoop. But I just don't think it is the right thing to do. And that's why I hold such a strong boundary on it, even though literally everyone is like, you should just tell, you should just say this, you should just say that. And I can't. For the girls, I just can't. And I like keeping it as private as I've kept it. I like on social media only telling stories that are mine to tell. I don't like telling other people's stories for them. And so I try and respect that as much as I can. Okay, round 4 was most disgusting habit you have, or share something no one knows about you. And 80% of you said share something that no one knows about you. This is a hard one when you're someone who yaps quite a lot and overshares quite a lot. Like, I feel like I have very, very few secrets or like things about myself that people don't know. I can think of like a few things that maybe very few people know about me. When I was like 20, I got offered a job to be a radio journalist in like rural WA. So I would have had to have like moved all the way across to WA and like literally done radio work in like a very rural radio station over there. And literally the only reason I didn't take it is because my ex-husband, who was just my boyfriend at the time, had his own business and I didn't want to be away from him. My mum thought I was absolutely insane for turning it down because literally my entire high school career I had said I wanted to be a broadcast journalist. I knew that to make it as a broadcast journalist, you had to work somewhere, either regional or rural. Like, no one gets just like offers into metro news stations straight out of uni. It's just not a thing. And so like that was just part of it. And I just didn't do it and just said, I just won't be a journalist. I'll go do like something else. I know people are going to be like, did you regret that? And honestly, no, I didn't. I don't think I'd be here today if I went down that path. I loved journalism. I've always loved storytelling. I desperately wanted to be a broadcast journalist. Actually, always used to say, I want to be the next Lisa Wilkinson. That was like my big goals in life. But yeah, I didn't take it. And I barely even talked to many of my friends about getting that job. I think because I knew people would judge me for turning down a job because of a man. I don't even think I told my ex-partner about it. Or if I did, I only told him in passing because I think he would have said like, oh, you got to take it. You got to do it. So it wasn't his fault. He didn't say that I shouldn't do it. I just did the interview, got the job in quiet and just, didn't take it, didn't say anything. I got offered quite a lot of cadetships after uni because a bunch of my tutors like submitted me for cadetships. So like I got offered a cadetship with the Courier Mail. I got offered a few and I turned them all down to work in my partner's business. Eek. At the time though, I was going through a lot mentally. So that was like another layer as to why I turned them down. But most of it was, I didn't want to be away from him. I didn't want to move away from him. I didn't want to be apart. I almost took a job in a Gold Coast newsroom actually, but I bombed the interview. I bombed the job interview. It was around election time and I stuffed up and South Australia was having their like state elections and they asked me who the 3 major candidates were and I blanked on one of them. I just could not think of the person's name. And like, while that may not seem very big to like other people in journalism, especially in like newsroom journalism, like politics is a big thing you got to be across. And not knowing like who the Adelaide or the South Australian candidates were was really, really bad because it was like a big news thing. And there was this whole thing going on at the time between Pauline Hanson and one of them. Anyway, and I bombed it. I bombed the interview. I was so embarrassed because I was doing an internship at the time in the Brisbane newsroom for this company. My boss had sent me to the Gold Coast interview and I bombed it and I had to go back to my internship and finish that out even though I didn't get a job afterwards because I bombed the interview at the Gold Coast. But we were going to move to the Gold Coast and my ex-husband was going to just commute down to work. If I'd gotten that job. But again, I think it was just like not meant to be that I didn't get that job. So that's probably some like law that like maybe even a lot of my friends don't know. We're taking a quick little after dark pause to tell you about Libido's Melt, the candle that sets the mood and turns into the most luxe massage oil when melted. It smells divine, feels even better, and brings just the right kind of heat to the bedroom. Libido is all about turning everyday intimacy into something sensual, beautiful, and totally shame-free. The code UPB20 gets you a cheeky discount. UPB20. Don't be scared, ladies. Go light it up. Or check out their entire pleasure range at www.mylbdo.com. I'll leave a link in the show notes. Okay, now that we've talked about turning the lights down low, let's turn the tea back up. Round 5. How many times a week do you have sex? Or rate sex after marriage out of 10. And 57% of you wanted to know how many times a week do I have sex. If GB's sister or mother are listening to this, please avert your ears. Turn this podcast off now. Seriously. I'm blushing. Oh! Okay, so GB and I like little rabbits. I'm not going to lie. And how many times a week do we have sex? How many times or how many days? How many days? Like every day we're together, which is like, I don't know, depends on the week. Sometimes like 5 days, sometimes 4 days. How many times? A lot. Again, depends on the week. If it's like a kid-free weekend, a lot. Okay, that's all I can say. A lot. There's a lot going on. I don't want to like embarrass him and like share too much. But yeah, it's very great. Hence why it's happening quite a lot. I just, have never really had a physical connection with someone like this, like a physical connection that is equal to the emotional connection. That is not shade on any of my past partners. I just never really thought of myself as a super physical person. I used to say that like I could go like a year without sex and it wouldn't affect me. And that's not just like with my ex-husband. Like I've always been like that. I just have never been like super like randy type of person until this relationship. And then it's just like, honestly, bad. Honestly, like I need to like chill out a little bit because I'm just like frothing at the mouth. My friends know this. He obviously knows that he's obviously like, girl, you need to relax a little. No, he's not. He's like, I love this. This is the best time ever. Yeah, I don't know. We have sex a lot. I have a lot of sex. It's bad in the sense of like, I just have become like, sometimes I feel like I'm like a teenage boy that's like, just lost his virginity and discovered sex was a thing. Again, all the sex I've had with previous partners was great, very fun, enjoyed it a lot, had a good time. I don't know what is different about this connection, and I don't know if there are any women who have maybe experienced this where they've just met like one person and it's just like a whole different ball game, but that's kind of what it's like. Just like a whole different playing field. It is the weirdest thing ever, but just like from the first moment I met him, there has just been so much physical chemistry. And 9 months in? No. Is that right? 8 months in, it has not even started to like fizzle or wither down at all. Like I thought that like initial physical like urge would kind of have dulled a little bit. Nah, not even close. I still feel like we're like freaking 1 or 2 months in dating when it comes to like bedroom sort of things. I really hope that if his mum or sister were listening, they took my advice and did turn off that section, please. If not, do not ever bring it up with me in person. I will honestly die and perish and would be so freaking embarrassed. But yeah, the man is a king in the bedroom. Okay. Round 6 was, how did you know to leave your marriage, or do you resent your ex? And 72% of you wanted to know, how did I know to leave my marriage? Now, I get asked this all the time. People are like, what were the signs when you knew it was time to leave? I did not have any signs that I noticed to leave my marriage. I've shared this many times on the podcast and in other content. We had something that happened in our marriage, and then within days I had like moved out after that like event happened, right? And before that, if you had even asked me like the morning of that, before that, I would have been like, I am never, ever, ever leaving my marriage. Like I truly was someone that was like, I am married for life. I am bonded for life. I actually talked about this in the Sydney live episode. So if you're like listening to this, sorry for the repeat, but they didn't, not everyone knew that was going to be talked about when these questions came in. But yeah, I thought I was going to grow old with my ex-husband and die with him and be together forever. Like when I got married, I truly was like, I am getting married for life. Like there is going to have to be something so significant for me to end my marriage. And like I truly held true to that. Like it had to have been something significant for me to call it quits, because I have so much trauma from my parents' marriage ending, and giving my children like a split home childhood was something that I so desperately did not want. So yeah, I didn't have any signs other than like when something so significant happened that I had to be like, okay, well, I don't think I can recover from this. Like this is the end for me. So I can't really help people in the sense of like, I know there are women out there who slow burn the exit of their marriage or their partnership. Like, they might and ah about it for months or whatever. I didn't have that experience. So there were no real signs for me other than like one big thing that, kind of like canceled everything out. Okay, round 7. The 2 questions that were asked were, what's the biggest brand deal you've ever said no to? Or what's the biggest brand deal you've said yes to? This one surprised me. I for sure thought you guys were going to make me say what was the biggest brand deal I've ever signed. But you didn't. 58% of you wanted to know what's the biggest brand deal I've ever said no to. Now, the biggest brand deal I've ever said no to was like over a few months, and it was like multiple thousands of dollars. And it was with a competitor to a brand that I had done a lot of work with in the past. I was not in contract with that brand at the time, but I had done like a lot of work and done a lot of like promoting of this other brand. And then one of their competitors came in and offered me like a lump sum of money, I think across 3 months, to promote their brand. And it was really great money. I was a single mum at the time. I could have taken it, and I said no because I had done the work with the previous brand. I really liked the previous brand. They were really great to work with. And even though I wasn't in contract with them and I haven't gone back to being in contract with them again, I just felt inauthentic. It felt to me like if I said yes to this other brand, felt like a money grab. And I know that not all influencers are like this. Like really, honestly, not many are like this, but I genuinely, really, truly value the trust that my audience has in me. I think, or I hope, I've established with you guys that I will not just promote something for a money grab. I promote stuff if I genuinely like the product, if I genuinely think you guys will get value from me sharing the product. Like I have a pretty strong criteria, and I just felt like if I was, doing a 6-month contract with this other brand and then that ended and then straight away I started working with their competitor, I was like, it just feels icky to me. It makes me feel like I'm inauthentic, and I feel like it damages the trust that my audience has in me. Not saying like, the other brand, the competitor brand wasn't good. They were a great brand. Like it was kind of in a market where like these 2 brands were like the 2 big ones. And but I was just like, I don't know. I just feel like I kind of really stood behind one brand and then just like jumped ship really quickly. Or even at all. Like I kind of feel like once you kind of commit to a brand, like I think it's really important to stay true to you believing in that brand and standing behind that brand and encouraging other people to use the brand. Yeah. So I said no to it. I felt kind of dumb because I needed the money. I was a single mum and I could have used the job, to be honest. And I definitely probably was not in a position to turn down big jobs like that. But I value what you guys think of me and the trust you have in me more. So I said no. I genuinely don't just say this to like try and seem good to you guys or whatever, but like when I promote a brand, it is always something I have genuinely used and genuinely enjoy and genuinely love. I do not promote shit to you guys. I do not take money grabs like that. I could have taken the money and just done the competing brands and been like, whatever. I don't do it, right? I am so passionate of if I am going to stand behind a brand to you guys, I'm going to make sure it's good and I'm going to make sure I really do resonate with it. And I know sometimes that can frustrate my manager, Lauren, because I can be a bit picky, and I know it probably limits the amount of work I could do and the amount of money I could make. But in the long run, I just think it's way more important that you guys know I believe in what I say and I'm not just doing stuff for money. So that's why I usually say no to stuff. The other times I say no is if they want deliverables that I'm not comfortable with or they're trying to undercut me. But yeah, that was probably the biggest brand I ever said no to. Oh, fuck. I forgot about this question. Fuck. Okay. Shit. Okay. Round 8. Has any rumor on a gossip site about you been true? Or share a social media scandal you know of. And 73% of you wanted me to confirm if a rumor about me on a gossip site has been true. This is a really hard one for me to answer because I actually don't go on gossip sites. I know people don't believe me when I say that, but I genuinely do not look at them. I know they're there and I know when some stuff is being discussed because the people on those sites, they can't help themselves. They know I'm not giving them attention and they like fucking shit their pants and have to come and like send me screenshots of stuff that's happening over on those sites because they want a reaction out of me and they're not getting it. So then they go and try and find a way to, you know, get it from me by like sending, you know, Reddit stuff or like Tattle or Tea Time stuff directly to me, right? But I genuinely don't check it. The only time I check it is if there's something on there that's like significant enough that I have to check it, like doxing information, really like serious defamatory information that I need to defend, stuff like that, then I have to go and have a look. But I have people, you know, in my team who check, like to keep an eye on it to check that none of those things are happening. And the rule is like, unless I need to know, I don't want to know. And I really stand by that. All my friends know that. None of my friends, if they ever see anything about me on any gossip sites, will ever tell me about it unless they think it's significant enough that I need to know. And I feel like having that attitude is the only way that I can continue to show up each day because I get a significant amount of hate. I get a fucked up amount of hate for the amount of followers I have. It's actually stupid. And to be honest, I don't really understand why it happens. I don't know if it's maybe because I'm so vulnerable that people form like a deeper connection with me. And then I don't know, because I don't feel like I am that like controversial. Like do I think I've been a perfect creator? Absolutely not. There have been times where I've missed, you know, the mark and I've been called out about it. And I'm like, you know what, fair. I'll cop that on the chin. One thing I really do pride myself on is I try and take accountability if I do the wrong thing, and I honestly try and listen to feedback that's given to me respectfully. That is the key. There's a difference between feedback and then people just being vile and, you know, hating on me and like literally trying to be malicious and cause me like mental and emotional like harm. But I'm trying to think of I would say literally 99% of what is shared on those like gossip sites is false. Like I'm not just saying that to try and cover my back. Like truly it's false. It's wild to me because the people on those sites, like they make up like some origin. Like it's so wild to see like someone on that site will make something up about me like 8 months prior. And then it's like for, you know, 8 months later, people are suddenly writing that point like it's Bible and like it's true and that actually happened. And it's so crazy to kind of like see that happening because I'm like, oh my God, that's not true. Like there is nothing true about what you just said, but you guys have like harped on about this false point for months and months and months to the point now where you're like, oh, that is true because we've talked about it so much when it's not. And that's really frustrating. But I'm trying to think of something that people have said that I've been like, ooh, you've been a bit close on the mark there. There has been some stuff about my relationship. There was one like niche comment that someone made on one of those sites. I can't even remember which one it was now, about the breakdown of my marriage. That was so specific that I was like, that has to be someone who knows us personally, because there is no way you pulled that out of your ass and were that accurate. Like, it was a point that I was like, whoa, there has to be either you know us directly or you're close with someone who knows us directly and they've like spread the information to us. There's really weird things. Like, I remember someone sent me a post once talking about my mum being a lawyer, and I was like, what the fuck? My mum's a nurse. Like, there's things like that I read it and I'm just like, what? Like, that is so bizarre to me to read that. Or like, I don't know, there's just like some weird things that I read and I'm like, what the heck is that? I'm trying to think of something that's like true that they've said about me. On there, I know that someone said something about like the legal history of like one of my family members. And that was like shared, and they were saying it like it was a rumor, like this, like information about one of my family members. But I was like, that's not a rumor. That's literally public record. Like, anyone can look that up. Like, that's not really like some big scandalous thing. Like, anyone can find that information. Like, legal records are public, like, you know. And then they were just like, she never talks about it. And I'm like, well, I don't talk about it because I don't have anything to say about it, because I don't really have that type of relationship with that person to like discuss it. So yeah, I guess that was probably like the closest rumor, but it's not really like a rumor or a secret or anything. Like, it's stuff I talk about with my like people in real life. Like, I'll talk about this specific circumstance, and yeah, like I said, it's like public record. Anyone can look it up. So it's not really like, I can't really keep it secret or on the down low or like whatever. I just don't talk about it because it was like pretty traumatic for me, and also I just don't have the relationship with the person to be able to talk about it like that. That was question number 8, and that was really hard to do. I really hope I've not said the wrong thing or pissed anyone else off by the way I answered those questions. I hope GB is okay with what I shared about him. I really found that uncomfortable because a lot of those questions were questions I usually would try to avoid, but they have been shared now. I hope you little nosy Nellies enjoyed it. I wanted to end After Dark with a bang. I do have a question for you guys now, and it is, do you want After Dark to come back next season? Have you enjoyed this sort of like cheeky bonus sort of episodes? Would you like me to bring them back? Would you like them to be more regular? Did you not really care for them? What's the opinions on After Dark? I would love to hear them. I would love to get some feedback. Of course, seeing as this is also the last episode of the season, I would really love if you guys went and either rated or reviewed us on whichever platform you listen to Up Past Bedtime. I would love if you followed us on whatever platform you listen to Up Past Bedtime on. I would love if you came and followed us on Instagram, subscribed to us on YouTube, followed us on TikTok. And I would absolutely love if you shared us with your friends and got the Up Past Bedtime name out there. This is a real labor of love for me. I love, recording and showing up every week. But, when I am self-producing, editing, doing all of the things by myself, it really is dependent on, the Up Past Bedtime name getting out there. And I find the strongest recommendation is word of mouth. So if you really love these episodes and you love listening, please make sure you engage with us. Please make sure you do all the things on the platforms, and then share us with friends and family. Talk about us, hype us up. Tell people that they should also listen, because it really does make all the difference for me. Oh my God, this feels so weird because now I'm going to close out, and that's it for season 3. Officially. Everything is done. Season 3 is over. We will be back for season 4, but not until the second week of October. So I'm going to be having a nice long break and sort of recharging and recuperating. And I cannot wait to talk to you guys then. I know I'm going to miss you like crazy while we're away, but I definitely am due for a nice break. So for the last time of season 3, I'm going to love ya and I'm going to leave ya. Sweet dreams.